Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 7 o'clock main news. In tonight's headlines, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence visits the 94th Yarmouk Brigade on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is determined to destroy tunnels from Gaza with or without a ceasefire. The US House of Representatives passes a resolution authorizing a lawsuit against the president for allegedly exceeding his constitutional powers. And international forensic scientists reached the crash site of flight MH17 in East Ukraine after the government halts military operations for a day. The envoy of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah and Admiri Ad-Diwan Advisor Mohammed Daifullah Sharar left the country today, heading to the Islamic Republic of Mauritania to represent His Highness the Emir at the inauguration ceremony of Mauritanian President Mohammed Ould Abdelaziz. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defence Sheikh Khalid Al-Jarrah Al-Sabah visited today the headquarters of the 94th Al Yarmouk Mechanized Brigade on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. In a press statement, the Defence Ministry's Morale Guidance Department said that Sheikh Khalid Al-Jarrah conveyed the congratulations of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, His Highness the Deputy Emir and Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, and His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al-Mubarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, to the Kuwaiti Armed Forces. Sheikh Khalid was accompanied by the Army Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Abdul Rahman Al-Uthman and several senior Army Forces leaders. The Deputy Chairman of Kuwait Red Crescent Society, or the KRCS, Anwar Al-Hassawi, said today that the society distributed the third batch of relief aid to Palestinians in the cities of Gaza and Rafah. In a press statement issued today, Al-Hassawi said that the society, in cooperation with humanitarian organizations in the Strip, managed to distribute food, blankets and some simple gifts to children who are being treated in hospitals in the Strip on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Al-Hassawi lauded the role of humanitarian organizations which cooperated with the KRCS, adding that the support aims to tackle the deteriorating humanitarian crisis in the Strip due to the Israeli aggression, which completely destroyed homes, turning them into heaps of rubble. Al-Hassawi also asserted that a Kuwaiti plane of 40 tons of humanitarian aid will fly to Egypt after Eid al-Fitr vacation to distribute aid to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, in cooperation with authorities there across the Rafah crossing border. Al-Hassawi added that the society vowed to support and ease the suffering of victims in Gaza, responding to the calls of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. In the midst of war and grief, Gazans continue to pay a heavy price for Israeli onslaughts, which entered its fourth week now. More with Majd Al-Wahidi from Gaza.
To witnesses, tens of houses were destroyed right in front of their eyes. Burnt out cars, uprooted trees, and broken stones are a reality here. These are the scenes which take Palestinians 31 years back when Israeli forces committed massacres in Sabra and Shatila. However, the latest massacre took place in Al-Shaja'iyya just days ago. In this neighborhood, residents suffered from 2 deadly onslaughts in less than 2 weeks.
We were sitting in our home. The children went out to bring bread for us, but my child was shot and killed. I ask humanity, what are our crimes? What did my child do to deserve death? What will Netanyahu do if an Israeli kid died in this way?
Israel says its attacks are only to target Hamas and other resistance groups who are responsible for firing rockets into Israeli cities. But for these fighters, it is mere self-defense. Opening of Gaza crossings and lifting the siege are among the essential conditions set by Palestinian groups before accepting a comprehensive ceasefire agreement. Meanwhile, Israel insists on the demilitarization of Gaza and total destruction of tunnels and weapons infrastructure. In the middle of such mess, some believe this war has another context. They say that fuel was being added to the fire long before its inception.
The war began since the kidnapping of 3 settlers in the West Bank. Since then, Israel has escalated its aggression against Gaza. They wanted a limited war, but Hamas found an opportunity. They wanted to get out of regional isolation and end the blockade. They also wanted to prove to the world that they don't give up. Now we all know that they have strong military capabilities.
Hamas and Islamic Jihad are on the front line of this battle. Behind them is a civilian population which has suffered far too much and paid a heavy price for being part of the conflict. Since this operation began, hundreds of thousands have fled their homes and sought shelter in UN-run schools. But these walls have failed to provide these refugees any shelter. What is deemed to be a safe haven and internationally protected is now a target for Israel.
So the world has to understand what such a major displacement means. And if there were any other additional large-scale displacements, we also have to say that Israel, as an occupying power, would have to assume responsibility for them.
The UN has increased its pressure to reach a ceasefire. However, it remains to be seen if any ceasefire comes into immediate effect or this bloodshed will keep claiming more innocent lives. Around the world, most people think that those who die in Israeli attacks are only statistics. Yet behind every wall of a destroyed house is a different story. In this war, each victim, dead or wounded, dreamed of peace, freedom and justice. Majlou Hadi, Kuwait TV, Gaza.
United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon demanded that the organization's premises in Gaza are respected, calling attacks on them serious violations of international law. The comments during his visit to Costa Rica come in the wake of an attack on a UN school in Gaza that killed at least 16 people on Wednesday. Ban also said he was deeply disturbed by the targeting of the Gaza power station that supplies electricity and water because it raises serious concerns about sanitation conditions and possible spread of disease on a massive scale. Meanwhile, the United Nations Relief Works Agency, or the UNRWA, said that the shelling of the UN school sheltering over 3,000 displaced Gaza residents by Israeli army was a violation of international law. UNRWA said some 3,300 Palestinians, including many women and children, were taking refuge in the school in Jabalia refugee camp when it came under fire around dawn. Residents of two neighborhoods in Baghdad inspected the damage caused by two car bombs that exploded yesterday as residents tried to celebrate the Eid al-Fitr holiday. According to officials, the car bomb exploded in the district of Al Amin in eastern Baghdad that killed 8 people and wounded more than 20 others. Earlier, shortly before sunset yesterday, a car bomb exploded near a line of small restaurants in the Sadr City neighborhood, killing 15 people and wounding 28. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a resolution to sue President Barack Obama for allegedly exceeding his constitutional powers. The 225 to 201 vote along party lines means House lawyers will now draft legal documents to launch a lawsuit. Its supporters say Obama exceeded his powers when he delayed an insurance deadline in his health care law. The president himself has dismissed it as a waste of time. The action is reportedly the first time either the House or Senate has brought legal action against the president over the legality of his powers, although members of Congress have sued presidents before. Republicans in Congress have complained that Obama has exceeded his constitutional authority on numerous occasions in order to bypass Congress by issuing executive orders. Rescuers in western India were digging through swirling mud today to uncover dozens of submerged homes and find more than 150 people swallowed up by a landslide that flattened almost an entire village, with the confirmed death toll at 25. The hillside above Malin village near the city of Pune in Maharashtra state collapsed yesterday, and heavy rain raised fears of another landslide. 9 teams of rescue workers toiled through the night, but insistent rain, mud and poor communications in the remote area slowed their efforts to make their way into engulfed thatch huts and brick houses. Shocked by the extent of devastation, Interior Minister Rajnath Singh announced financial support for the victims from the federal government. Rescue operations continue today near the Pakistani city of Karachi after at least 19 people were drowned following Eid celebrations. 19 bodies were recovered at 2 separate beaches, 12 bodies from Clifton Beach last night and 6 early this morning, while 1 more body was found in Hawke's Bay. Despite a ban on entering and bathing in sea due to high tides, thousands of people turned up on various features of Karachi to celebrate Eid. Authorities have deployed additional police forces to the beach to prevent people from swimming in the sea. International forensic scientists today reached the crash site of flight MH17 in East Ukraine after the government halted military operations. Australian and Dutch police experts arrived in a convoy of Organisation for Security and Cooperation in Europe monitors. Fighting between government and rebel forces had prevented them from getting there for nearly a week. Australia believes that around 80 bodies remain at the crash site. Russian aviation experts are also in Ukraine, hoping to visit the site. Meanwhile, Malaysia's Prime Minister Najib Razak called on the Ukrainian military and pro-Russian separatists to agree to a ceasefire in the area surrounding the site. Razak, who was speaking in a joint news conference with Dutch counterpart Mark Rutte in The Hague, was visiting the Netherlands to discuss repatriating Malaysian victims' remains and the security situation in Ukraine. Sierra Leone President Ernest Bai Koroma has declared a public health emergency to curb the deadly Ebola outbreak. He said the epicenters of the outbreak in the east would be quarantined and asked security forces to enforce the measures. The UN says 729 people in West Africa have died of Ebola since February, 233 of them in Sierra Leone. This includes Dr. Sheikh Omar Khan, who led Sierra Leone's fight against the virus. His funeral is today. Traditionally run throughout the holy month of Ramadan, the Abdullah Rodhan Indoor Football Championship is an annual event dedicated to the late Abdullah Mshari Rodhan and one of the most popular football tournaments in Kuwait. Sponsored for the first time by His Highness the Emir Sheikh Subah Al-Ahmed Al-Jabir Al-Subah, the annual tournament consists of 40 teams competing across 10 groups with a 5-a-side squads, including 3 foreign professional players competing for the winner's trophy. Our reporter Badriya Saleh brings us more from the final match.
The team of the Gulf Cable and Electrical Industries Company was crowned champion of the 24th Abdullah Al Rodhan Indoor Football Tournament, beating Team Lily White Company 3-1 Saturday evening. Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs Sheikh Salman Sabah Al Salim Al Sabah and President of the Association of National Olympic Committees Sheikh Ahmed Al Fahad Al Sabah were among a large number of spectators gathered to watch the remarkable final match held at Martyr Ahmed Al Fahad Center. The tournament recently transformed from being a popular local event to an international one, seeking participation of world-renowned footballers. This year, more than 70 professionals from 15 nations took part, including former Juventus and ex-Italian international Alessandro Del Piero. In addition to a special junior competition for children ages 8 to 12, a classical game will be held August 5th, seeing Barcelona and Real Madrid football legends battle it out for glory. At the Martyr Sheikh Fahad Al Ahmed Al Sabah Club, this is Badriya Saleh reporting for the English News.
For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. And to recap tonight's news, here are the headlines once again. The Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence visits the 94th Yarmouk Brigade on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is determined to destroy tunnels from Gaza with or without a ceasefire. The US House of Representatives passes a resolution authorizing a lawsuit against the president for allegedly exceeding his constitutional powers. And international